Welcome back to Crenshaw Storytime. We are continuing with Chronicles of Ori by Harmonia Rosales. Still learning the words and still learning how to pronounce them. We are on chapter 10, Oshun. The jungle is stronger than the elephant, African proverb. And please forgive me, maintenance is working on the AC today. In the time before the great flood of Alukan, Oko and the Orisha of the soil embodied both feminine and masculine spirits. Alukan, Oko, the Orisha. Let's start again. In the time before the great flood of Alukan, Oko, the Orisha of the soil embodied both feminine and masculine spirits. As the symbol of fertility and the harvest, Oko represented the perfect convergence of creation and continuation, providing the garden with abundance of his harvest. Yet when a child of Ori named Autumn became the first to be banished from Eden for inquisitiveness. Not inquisitiveness. The Orishas did not foresee how his journey would forever alter Oko. Separated from the garden, Autumn faced a daunting challenge, for he could no longer rely on Oko's bounty. 3 years into his exile, Autumn noticed a pattern in the seasonal cycles. In his 4th year, he planted a seed, and by his 5th, he reaped his first harvest. The simple, independent act unlocked his freedom, freeing him from scavenging. However, as the skies reflect the earth, so does the earth mirror the skies. Autumn's newfound understanding of the cultivation of crops caused a disruption with Oko, splitting the divine being into 2 distinct Orishas. From this division arose Oshun, who captured Oko's feminine spirit, embodying love and beauty and fertility. The other remained Oko, though now his ashe was limited to planting and reaping. As the Orishas sat on their thrones in Eden, they basked in the abundant admiration and worship from mortals, the force that animated their ashe. They felt invincible, believing themselves more powerful than Aludamir, for it was they who had labored to raise or cultivate the land and its inhabitants. The Orishas began to subtly disobey the great god, testing the limits of their autonomy. However, it wasn't until Ishu defied Oludamir's command to return to Oshishi to the skies that the divine scales tipped toward retribution. Oludamir released. Have a good day.
You too.
Oludamir released a punishment upon the Orishas. The seasons stretched beyond their natural bounds, plunging the land into deep despair for 3 long years. The land was held hostage by a tireless drought, its once lush fields reduced to cracked soil covered in dust. Desperation seeped into every living thing. Sorrow suffocated the laughter and joy that had once filled the land. Families huddled together in the shadows, their hollow eyes reflecting the hunger that gnashed, I believe so, it's gnashed. Gnashed, gnashed. I think the G is silent, but gnashed or gnashed. Their hollow eyes reflecting the hunger that gnashed at their souls, while the cries of children too weak to stand pierced the stagnant air. In the grip of famine, the people of Ori were forced to confront the most harrowing aspects of their humanity, the line between mortality and survival growing ever more blurred with each passing day. And love, which had once filled the hearts of mortals, now flickered feebly, struggling to endure against looming necessity. Like all the Orishas, Oshun sensed her shade weaken as the waters from the sacred Tamariset River slowly began to dry. This grand river, the lifeblood of Eden and the land, was being drained away, leaving behind a barren world. Her temple, which had once been a haven of comfort and warmth, now cooled with an isolated hush. Oshun had long before discovered her ashe within the hearts of mortals. It was a powerful and potent ashe. It possessed the ability to bestow life and to strip it away. In mortals, it could inspire devotion and sacrifice, or twist into jealousy and rage. To Oshun, love wielded a strength that surpassed even Ogun's iron. Now love, the very ashe that had nourished the mortals and had been siphoned from their souls. Oshun roamed with frantic desperation. She felt responsible for Orion's parched expanse. As she watched the harvest fail, she sought the attention of Olodumare, imploring him to unleash his tears upon the world to quench the thirst of the drying land. She asked the other Orishas to join in her pleas. They tried to appease Olodumare with grand gestures of gratitude and desperation. Each attempt was more elaborate than the last. Issues was perhaps the most elaborate of all. He performed sacrifices offering the sweetest fruits and the most fragrant flowers to Olodumare. Yet his offerings were met with silence. The sky remained as unyielding as ever, devoid of even the promise of rain. Oshun saw that she herself must somehow travel to the sky kingdom. To journey beyond the clouds, she will need to assume a new form. Oshun turned to Mama O'Neill, for only earth could release her from the soil. She pleaded, "Grant me wings so I can ascend to the sky kingdom, for only the great God can unleash the rains." Mama O'Neill gently reminded her, "The great God above is deaf to earthly pleas." Yet seeing the sorrow in Oshun's eyes, she suggested a path. "Oshun, your ashe of love is something completely foreign to Olodumare. If you could manifest your love, not in words but in form, perhaps you could stir something within him." She revealed the drastic steps Oshun must take. A rebirth into a beautiful creature, a living embodiment of love and appreciation, a sight to dazzle the God above. But Mama O'Neill warned, "Remember, Oshun, even the most splendid display may not ensure the desired response." Even the most splendid display may not ensure the desired response. Like theater acting. "And should you succeed and return to earth, you will forever reside in your new form. And when you pass through my waters, your memories will be erased." You know, and not to get off topic, this reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender again. It's an episode that was not ever aired on Nickelodeon. And it's about the spirit, the mother of all faces, when Aang, Katara, and Sokka and Azula and Zuko and Azula were searching for their mother. And they came across the mother of all faces. The mother of all faces took, I forget what their mother's name was, Zuko and Azula. Their father's name was Ozai, but I literally forgot their mother's name. But the mother of all faces even said, "Why would a woman with such beauty want a plain face? Do you wish to have this new life? What about my children? Are they a part of the life and past you wish to forget? Then you will not have them in your new memory of your new face." It's on YouTube. Remember, Oshun, even the most splendid display may not ensure the desired response. And you should succeed and return to earth. You will forever reside in your new form. And when you pass through my waters, your memories will be erased. Oshun accepted her fate. The pain of her people, the dying land, the stakes were too high. The need too great. She was ready to sacrifice her identity for the sake of those she loved. What a lovely picture. Okay, I was making sure she was covered. A divine picture. A lovely divine picture. Mama O'Neill summoned the iridescent serpent of Ashumir. It lifted its body erect. Its grandeur enveloped, its grandeur enveloped Oshun as it swallowed her whole. As she passed through its belly, Oshun was reborn within an egg, large and pulsating with potential. With a caress and a kiss, Mama O'Neill cracked the egg, and from it emerged a creature of unmatched beauty. Oshun's limbs were long. Her fingers stretching into elegant wings adorned with sparkling feathers. Her crown was a representative crest of vibrant plumes. The Orisha was no more. In her place stood a mystical peacock, glinting like a collection of precious gems in the sunlight. A sight to behold. The peacock displayed all of Oshun's grace, beauty, and undying love for Orishas and its mortals. With her transformation complete, Oshun confidently spread her magnificent wings and took flight. Her new form allowing her to soar beyond the clouds and into the skies above. As she ascended, her feathers created a kaleidoscope of colors that danced across the sky. Oshun had confidently embarked on her divine mission, determined to face Oludumare and end the drought that had plagued the lands. Yet as she approached the Sky Kingdom, she found that she was lost. Oludumare was not a being, but rather the galaxy itself, a space of cosmic energy. Oshun felt her hope wane, her pleas dissolving into the ether, unnoticed by the awe-encompassing entity. Oludumare was an enigma, representing everything and nothing at the same time. In the bleakness of her situation, Oshun found hope in the sun, Oluran. However, as she drew near to Oluran, she felt the heat of its presence, a powerful, unforgiving intensity that threatened to incinerate her very being. Her resplendent plumage withered and crumbled beneath Oluran's merciless gaze. Each feather that fell was a fragment of her Ashe, lost to the inferno that raged before her. With a saddened heart, she realized that Oluran, whom she had sought for salvation, was an entity of destruction, incapable of offering the rains she so desperately desired. Yet even in her agony, as her feathers turned to ash and her Ashe leaked from her soul, she refused to abandon her mission. Oshun pressed onward. Upon reaching the blazing throne of Oluran, she fell, weakened, now more a vulture than a peacock, and pleaded on behalf of life on O'Neill. For Oshun understood that in the realms of gods and mortals, change was the only constant. Just as she had transformed herself into a peacock to embark on the sacred journey, so too could Oluran's fiery Ashe be harnessed for the greater good. Moved by Oshun's selfless sacrifice, Oluran turned its gaze toward the featherless peacock, acknowledging the former Orisha. Oluran reached out to Oshun, infusing her with the divine energy of its own Ashe. A surge of power coursed through Oshun's ravaged body, rekindling the fire within her soul and restoring her connection to the cosmos, even as it returned to her earthly form. Yet as the Ashe flowed into her being, it manifested in a manner that none could have foreseen. Golden rays of light spread across Oshun's body, etching intricate patterns onto the canvas of her skin. The golden lines of light traced the contours of her form, creating a pattern that appeared like a celestial map. This transformation was far more than a restoration of her Ashe. This transformation was far more than a restoration of her Ashe. It was a symbol of the sacrifice she had made on behalf of life. She had received a gift of sacred gold as well as a shield to withstand Olorin's heat. Oshun was then sent back down to earth, reborn to bring life anew. As she descended through Mama Aniel's womb, her tears became rain, nourishing the parched land below. Waiting for her was Oshun, who guided her through her renewed existence as she awaited the return of her memories. With each effortless slither, Oshun left imprints on the soil, which Oshun filled with sacred waters. Together they carved new rivers into the land, and under their divine touch, the world began to flourish once more. I will have another story for everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful day.